Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the iCar Racing Network. Your host, John Diekman. With me today is Jonathan Wall. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Today we're going to be talking about the Atlanta race with Dylan Duval domination, upcoming Bristol night race coming up this Thursday, and we have with us Cody Taylor to talk about his Hardline Truck Series that goes on Wednesday nights with two guests today, TJ and a surprise. All right, so Jay Wall, tough break for you during the race. You and I actually ended up getting the accident on lap 5, ended your day altogether. But
Yes, it did.
but you were able to stick around for a little bit, watch the race, and also heard about the races afterwards. What did you think about the race, other than your kind of terrible start?
Well, I think it went as good as we can expect it to. I mean, as hot as Atlanta is and as slick and old as that surface is on that track, I'm actually surprised we didn't have more incidents than we actually did. So, with ours being the exception, it looked like you and the car, Zachary Dubba, just kind of came together on the entry to turn one, and I had nowhere to go but high, and it just kind of pushed us into the wall. But, it ended my race early. But I'm looking forward to Bristol this week.
Yeah, Bristol should be a fun race. Yeah, unfortunately, you weren't able to really continue after that. I, on the other hand, was able to continue and somehow magically finish 8th place, 26 laps down. Don't ask me how that happened. But we had 5 cautions with 20 caution laps, 7 lead changes. Your winner was Dylan Duval, who absolutely dominated, won the pole, fastest in practice, led a total of 153 laps out of 163. Second place was Ryan Steneker. If I mispronounced that, you could yell at me later. Jonathan Eason, who was actually top 2 really all day, had 4 laps led. He had some late race contact with TJ, and unfortunately that pushed him back. Zachary Johns, again, pulling out a top 5, starting 12th, all the way in the back, and just, keeping his car clean, getting it through. And Justin Cobb, started 8th, finished in 5th. Also in the lead. Only the top 5 cars were on lead lap for that race. Afterwards was TJ Graves, who got a late race accident, 3 laps down. Robert McFarland, 15 laps down. In 7th, 8th, I said myself, 26 laps down. Judd Danielson, 9th place, 29 laps down. And Ethan McLaughlin with his top 10, 43 laps down. It was, I wouldn't want to say wreck fest, but when cars wreck, it wasn't pretty, to say the least.
I think that's what is going to happen when you got, 190 miles an hour on a hot slicks racetrack. Kind of expected that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, you even see driving around, you saw Dylan Duval driving past me. He was getting his car sideways, too. So even the leader was having problems keeping his car controlled. But for the most part, clean race. Had some decent lead changes and battles. And, it was overall a fun race. Can't deny that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. On lap 6, I was no longer in the race. So, but I'm sure you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, unfortunately that did happen. I'm sorry about that, kind of. Your point standing right now, we have Dylan Duval jumping up to first place with his win, jumping 9 spots. Jonathan Eason, with his top 5, was able to get the second. Justin Cove is now third. Rob McFarland stays in 4th, and Levi Zielinski is tied for 4th with Rob McFarland. You want to get the rest of that there, J-Wall?
I'm sorry, where'd you leave off?
Levi's.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up my results here, guys. Just bear with me for a moment. But, yeah, I can't get it to come up.
All right, well, I'll finish it off. Right on 6th place, TJ Graves jump up 2 spots for 6th. 7th, myself, I jumped down 1 spot. 8th place, Zachary Duba jumping down 6 spots, not looking so good. Ryan Steneker jumps 8th place to 8th. 10th place is Judd Danielson, jumps up 5. Chad Payne goes up 2. Brian's up 1. Ethan McLaughlin's up 6. In 13th, J-Wall, unfortunately, you fell 3 spots to the 14th. Tabor, who we're going to talk to here shortly, and was not able to race due to family. He is now in 15th, jumped down 3 spots. Jacob Young in 16th goes up 4. Lonnie Brooks up 4, 17th. Patrick Elhofer is 18th, doesn't move. David May, the biggest loser, is down 16, who did not race. Zachary Johns, I believe this was his first race, and he's in 20th. Tyler Roberts, down 12 spots in 21st. Travis Gilbert, 22nd. Bradley Bartley is 23rd, and Lucas Cornwall is 24th. We do have 24 drivers, averaging, though, about 20 drivers a race, with provisionals. But with that being said, let's go and talk about Bristol. It's going to be a night race, as we all know, our first night race of the iCar season. It's going to be interesting to see, a bunch of cars racing up high and battling tough at Bristol. Mile and a half, always tempers are going to flare. What do you think about that, J-Wall?
Well, initially I was a lot more worried about it than I am now, and that's because originally we thought that we were going to be running in the daytime. But after seeing that on the schedule, we thought we were running Bristol twice, but we looked, and we're only running it once. So we all agreed that we're running night, especially after, before we got, kind of to a deadline to where guys were going to be practicing. We went ahead and switched it to nighttime. And I think that's going to be very, very advantageous just for the race as a whole, just because the cars are going to have more grip with the colder temperatures. And not to say that I don't think we could handle Bristol during the day. I definitely think that we could. It would be a struggle, especially for me. But I do think that the night race will help out, and it'll be our first night race of the season. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. I think the having this as our first night race is going to be huge. Bristol's always a fun race. Always great action. Tempers are going to fly. It's just like Daytona. People are going to run into each other. It's going to happen. I really think the cooler heads are going to prevail at this track for sure. And it's going to be fun to watch, seeing how everyone goes around. Unfortunately, I won't be racing. Maybe not. Probably not. Who knows? But, it'll be interesting to hear what people say after the race, and maybe we'll see our first rivalry of the iRacing series, or iRacing, or iCar and iRacing. Maybe our first real rivalry, and see if they carry on throughout the season.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a good race. It's just we're in a lot of the unknowns right now for this league this year. Just to kind of see what happens at each racetrack is I know is for me, especially somebody with the lesser experience on this new racing platform, is definitely still an unknown. So, but I am looking forward to at least trying to finish a race for once. If I can complete all laps is my goal, and of course if I can get into the top 10 or top 5 would be awesome too. So I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. I think people like Dylan Duvall, Jonathan Eason, Levi Zielinski, they have a huge advantage over everybody else because, they're veterans of iRacing. They've done this before. This ain't their first rodeo. And they know what each racing is going to be. Where, like yourself and myself, we go in, we're not 100% sure how the race is going to be. Elena, for me, I did not expect it to be that, loose all the time with that hot track surface. And that was something that, cost me and also cost you. My mistake cost you the race or a good race finish. So, it's something that is growing pains. You have a good mixture of experienced drivers on iRacing and a good mixture of, inexperienced drivers. And, right now it's working out well, and hopefully we can continue with that.
Yeah, and, you're gonna have to run into a bumpy spot in the road at some point in time. Definitely didn't want to. I don't want to be where I am in points. Of course, I don't. But again, it's kind of to be expected. I'm just hoping that I don't have any more, failures in the future. Daytona was I kind of let that one slide or let it go because it's Daytona. I made it to the white flag, actually, believe it or not, and I rolled the car 4 times and turned 1 grass. So I wouldn't call that a loss. I was telling somebody before the race, I said if I can't win, I'm gonna flip this thing, and that's what ended up happening. So, but like I said, hopefully it'll be an awesome race. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. And with that, we're going to take our first break and come back with Cody Tabor to talk about the upcoming Daytona race. And we are back on the iCar Racing Network. With us is going to be Cody Tabor. He's going to be starting up in the Hardline Truck Series, hosted by 24 Design. Is going to be run on Wednesday nights, and the first series is going to be at Daytona. Go ahead, Cody, and tell us about the series.
Well, like John just said, the series starts tomorrow, which is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2015 at 8 p.m. And the race will be called the 24 Designs 200 at Daytona. We'll be racing the Chevy Silverado and the Toyota Tundra for the truck series. Looking pretty forward to the new season. We did a trial run season to see how everything would roll and got some drivers picked up and everything, got some drivers in during the off season. So looking pretty forward to that. Hopefully it'll be a great race like the iCar Daytona 500 was. So looking pretty forward to that.
I know I myself will be in. I believe, Jonathan, you're going to be in as well, correct?
Yes, I'm just wondering, Tabor, need to ask you, how do you pretty look forward to something?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to it. So hopefully it'll be a great race.
So what are you doing different with the series? I mean, I was part of the first trials run. I think it was pretty well. There were some things that did need to be changed, but overall it was a good series. So what are you doing differently for those who were part of that first half? What are you going to do different with this series?
Well, this season we are taking away the fast repairs, except for at super speedways. We're only limited one at super speedways. We are adding a chase format season, which will be a 7-race chase. It'll be 3 eliminations, and the last race will be the 7th race will be the championship in the chase. And also we're adding our first, I guess, non-points race for this season, which will be the Hardline Racing League Summer Showdown in Florida, which that will be held at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. So looking pretty forward to that race.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that one.
I was at Pensacola for a year for schooling, but anyway. So are you going to do the Summer Showdown kind of like the trucks do at Eldora, or is it more going to be like an all-star format kind of a deal?
Well, that's a good point you brought up. We're kind of mixing it both in. It's going to be more of an Eldora format with all-star feel of it, so everybody will get into the race. I mean, it's not like you win and you're in it. And so we're going to let everybody race in it who's in the league, or even if people from the iCar Cup Series wants to come over and race, they can. You'll be in certain heats. There'll be like, I think 6 or 7 people in a group for a heat. So that's like 20 laps each, and then you have the 200 lap main feature. So that race will be held September 9th, 2015. That's a Wednesday night race. So if you guys want to join, just add me on Twitter at HardlineRCNLG. You can message me on Facebook if you want more information on that.
All right, yeah, and go also the website. The website is what exactly?
www.hardlineracing.com. That's where you can find it. You can go in a search engine like Google or anything. Just type in Hardline Racing League. You should be able to find it.
Sweet, and I think I speak for Jay Wall and myself that we're both looking forward to the season and seeing you tomorrow night at Daytona.
Yeah, guys, look forward to having you in the season, and good luck in the iCar Cup Series.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to take another quick little break, and we'll be coming back with the... And welcome back to the iCar Racing Network. With me today is Ryan Steinecker, driver of the number 48 Chevy. And great finish there at Atlanta, man. You came out of nowhere to grab a solid top 5.
Yeah, definitely needed that after Daytona. I think we had 19th place finish there, and stayed out of the trouble all day at Atlanta, and that was pretty hard to do with as crazy it was coming off turn 2.
Yeah, I definitely got involved with some trouble. So did Jay Will there. It definitely seemed to be one of those races where if you could survive, you could get a nice solid finish, as you seem to prove. So what was your strategy entering the race? Were you trying to, you knew that you had to keep a clean car, or did you feel like you had to be aggressive, taking it early?
Well, my strategy played out exactly how I wanted it to. I planned on staying out of trouble. I figured if you could stay on the lead lap, you're probably going to get a solid finish. And ended up being, I felt like I could be a third, fourth place car. And then with that final caution there, the guys in front of me in second and third, I think it was maybe TJ Graves and Justin Kolb kind of got into each other, and I got around for second place. But I knew if you could stay clean, you're probably going to get a pretty decent finish out of it.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those races you got to keep the fenders all on. Only for a race like that, though. Gio, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. What are your 3 keys for success for Bristol?
Bristol, I think, is going to be kind of the same as Atlanta. I feel like it's going to get pretty rough pretty early, probably, just because we're all still getting used to each other running around there. So definitely stay clean. I think pit road could probably cause some issues there. I don't know if we're going to be split around on both sides there or not, so that could be an issue. And then that's all I can think of right now is stay clean and watch your pit road for sure.
Yeah, Bristol's definitely one of those races where I feel like the longer the race is going to go, the higher tensions are going to get. Would you have to agree with that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think it's going to start off that way, too.
Mm-hmm. You have any strategy laying into Bristol? Are you going to try maybe lay back and hopefully if you got a clean up car, charge forward, or are you going to try to be on attack for all the race?
I think we'll see how qualifying goes. If we're in the first couple cars, I think it's going to try to stay up there the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any expectations for the season ongoing? I mean, I know you said Daytona was a rough one. Atlanta, you were able to get back up. Do you see, a lot more Atlanta places or finishes up ahead, or, do you see yourself maybe getting solid top tens and trying to wait for the chase to get a nice, good finish going?
Right now, just aiming for top tens for sure. Try to get in that top 12 in points and get into the chase and kind of go from there. I think if we can make the chase, I think we'll have a solid shot at it.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. Got to stop, though, Dylan Duval. Pretty dominant race this week, don't you say?
Yeah, he is. I think he's going to be the class of the field pretty much week in, week out.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ryan, and best of luck to you at Bristol and also to the rest of the season. We'll see you at Thursday night.
All right, man, we'll see you there. The old Elhofer Farms Chevrolet is going to be fast, so watch out.
We'll be looking out for it. And we are back again. This time we're with the TJ Graves driver, the number 22 Chevrolet. You had a pretty good race here, TJ, for the most part. Unfortunately, you had a little bit of a fallout towards the end, finished 6th, but overall a good race. Pretty satisfied with your finish, or you wishing you got a little bit higher up?
No, we're completely satisfied with our finish. Making all the laps is pretty much what I had in goal in mind this season because I quite frankly hate these cars. They're not short track cars. They got too much power. So we got a little too sideways into one with like 2 to go, protecting for former winner Dylan Duval, and this dude kind of gave me a nudge, and we went around. So Mr. Excitement style.
So a little bit of controversy towards that then. I believe it was either the 25 car, Justin Cobb, or 4 of Jonathan Easton, correct?
One of the two. I don't know. I know I had them good on the restarts because they kept spinning their tires. I was good for about 2 to 3 laps, and then they would finally catch me and maneuver their way around me. 90% of the time they actually did it cleanly, but at the end it was a little tap and go. But not a big deal.
It's towards the end of the race. Rubber's racing, though. And also,
exactly.
You can never have too much power. Never. With Bristol coming up, completely different track from Atlanta. Where are you looking for? Where are your goals for Bristol?
Goals for Bristol is obviously to finish the race. I have a strong feeling that the backup car is going to be unloaded in the first practice session. There's going to be lots and lots of wrecks in that race. None of these people have been experienced on Bristol on the iRacing surface, so they're going to go into the corner and it's going to be blind. So we're going to go into turn 1 and have a Darrell Waltrip moment.
But with you being a short track guy, your background, is, as you said earlier, for short tracks, it might play in your favor, though, won't it? Or don't you think?
Exactly, Will. Yes, I do plan on actually teaching all of the youngins and non-iRacing experienced guys how to drive around Bristol. So
I
was
probably
a
need
one.
it. I probably need it. So does Jonathan. We're both new to this. I've only done one Bristol race in trucks, and terrible. But Jonathan, do you have anything to ask?
I really don't. I'm really looking forward to the whole season and having you involved in the.
How do you possibly
league
not have
here.
a question for me?
It just happens.
It just happened. So in case, well, we might have a question for Elmo. Hold on, let me go get him. He's right next door. Be right back.
You don't have a question for Elmo?
Shots fired here on the iCar Racing Network.
I quit.
We are now taking job applications for new co-host. You can apply. Send us an email. That was great. Do you have any goals for this season, though, TJ? I know you're saying, you're not a big fan of these cars in the series, or the series altogether. But you're saying goals for the season. Are you trying, maybe make the chase, get top fives, and sneak out a couple wins, or are you just trying to drive around to see how you can do and improve definitely for next season?
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of both. Mostly driving around, see how we're going to do for next season. I do plan on the real racing starting to kick into gear, so the trying to run for pro in iRacing is not going to happen. So I might just cruise around, get used to the car, and then go for a championship next year like I am in a real car. A matter of fact, we got to thank some sponsors here. Double Clutch, main sponsor on the iRacing machine and on my real racing machine. Support me in anything I drive with four wheels, and that's about all the sponsors I could think of. I have a few other for the real race car. We're not going to get into that side of the things. iRacing and the real side of things are two different completely PR things in my mind. So,
there you go. Well,
damn, I'm doing so good. I had to throw you on the spot. I just did a real life interview. Now I got to change over to iRacing.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Trust me. We're not good at this either.
You better edit all my Modus things out.
Oh, no, we're keeping this in. Brian,
No, we're going to keep the Elmo part, but we'll both edit out the other stuff.
Oh, all this we're keeping in. But,
all this is keeping in? Well,
why not?
Well, fire away. I'm more than happy to talk about anything. Like I said, I'm usually the person asking questions, so this is not like my kind of thing here.
All right, well, we'll see. Now I'm in the catbird seat. Let's see how this goes. With the upcoming season, who do you see as strong contenders? I mean, yourself, I would admit this. Dominating car at Daytona, late race wreck, cost you that.
Yeah, that was a lack of experience there. Many of you don't know, here's a good quick story for us. We'll have a little story time. Here we go. I was in a $1,000 to win Daytona race in a truck, and I was blocking for the win and got a black flag on the restart for jumping the restart. So I know how to properly block, but it was in a truck, not a cup car, so I went up to maintain the outside lane, and I misjudged it. That's kind of how I fell back in and got into that big melee. If I didn't make that move, that whoever it was on the outside that blocked came down on Dylan, was still going to do it, and I probably would have made it through the wreck, because I would have been in front of Levi, and Levi could have just pushed me through the wreck, and his car's like a magnet always when he comes to wreck, so he'll just stick to me, and we'll go forward.
Oh, well.
And getting back to your second part of the question, contenders for the year, I don't really know many of you, except for console racing, gamer tag form, so names are really unfamiliar to me, but Dylan Duval obviously is going to be a contender since he's a pro driver. Levi, he seems to show a lot of speed. Eason and Kolb, all front runners, and I'm even going to throw out the 43 car of the old man that had the great interview last week. Not sure of his name, but
Robert.
He seems.
Robert McFarland. What? Robert McFarland.
Yeah, that guy. He seems to show a lot of character and knows how to keep a car without wrecking, and always prays for cautions when he comes a lap down. So
we all do, though. To be fair, we all do. But I mean, even yourself though, strong run at Daytona. You said inexperienced, and you also had a strong run at Atlanta. And unfortunately, you just got a little bumped the wrong way. But I could see you having a really good run this year. Maybe pulling off a win or two later on this season.
Yeah, we're going to try. I don't know. I consider myself a top 10 place finish. I can guarantee that. Top 5 if I actually sit down and try. I still have yet to turn any practice laps this week, so I might have to head on to that tomorrow. But
races in 2 days.
I gather the races in 2 days. I'm one of them people that like to show up for our only practice and then go to race unless it's a main event that requires money. Then I practice for about, well, everyone makes fun of me. I practice for about like 5,000, 6,000 laps, and then I get a big notebook going. I'll have to take a picture of this, and you could put it in this like show or whatever. But of some of my previous notebooks for like short track events and stuff. But these big car events, and especially with it being a stock setup, can't do too much. So I figured less requirements are involved. Just show up and drive. So it's kind of what I do.
Yeah, can't argue with that. Well, thank you very much for the interview. It's been very entertaining, TJ.
Well, my pleasure. They do call me Mr. Excitement. I'm pretty sure that's entertaining. And before we go, we have to properly say goodbye. Excuse me, I'll be right back.
This is not going to end well.
I want to commit suicide.
I had to get the lyrics for the Almost song. I didn't know it.
And with that, best of luck to you at Bristol, TJ, and best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me.
And with that would finish up this week's episode of the iCar Racing Network Countdown to Green. Join us next week. We'll talk about the exciting Bristol race, and we'll go into next week's race at Martinsville. Thank you.
Rockingham.
Or it's Rockingham. Just
Or
found that out. This just in. It's
Yeah,
Rockingham.
the return of the Rock.
return of the Rock is coming back to the iCar Racing Network. Don't miss that.